Have you ever found yourself looking at a wildlife photography image and thinking to yourself that it looked just like the last 10 that you saw? Largely, this can be attributed to the limitations of photography gear up until recently, as well as the lack of creative, unique vision in photographers' shots. Whether you're on a budget with lower-end camera gear, or you have the best of the best, you can always find situations that will limit your quality of shot in wildlife photography. There's times that I've attempted capturing wildlife photos in the middle of the night with unreasonably high noise in my images, or situations in which I'm trying to use unique photo capture techniques like slow shutter blur, and the subject isn't quite as sharp as I'd like. Having the ability to fix these problems in post-processing and relying on your editing tools to have the confidence to take these creative shots will open up new possibilities for you in your wildlife photography journey. It's important to be able to push the boundaries of creativity with your wildlife photography because it gives the viewer something new to look at. Topaz Photo AI allows for my 3 biggest post-processing problems to be solved. Number 1, high noise due to low light scenarios. Number 2, blurry or soft shots due to slightly missed focus or motion blur. And number 3, enhancing the resolution of my image due to a low quality of image or being backed away so far from the subject. I'll be walking through past situations in which I've solved all 3 of these problems using Topaz Photo AI in the roughest of situations. So this first image that I'm sharing here is one of a crow that I took in the middle of the night on a hospital ledge. I saw a roost of crows that were roosting at a single spot in my city, over 10,000 strong every single night, and so I had this vision of wanting to capture them in the middle of the night on those ledges and on the tops of the trees that they roosted on. So because of this, we have a lot of really low light situations going on. This is the first of which was actually the easiest of the 3 shots that I'm about to show you. But something that was noticeable here was the noise and the lack of definition in the crow. So you can see that Topaz Photo AI is already corrected for this. So it's sharpened it, it's removed the noise right here, it's detected the subject, which is all of this, and it's really helped to clean up that noise between these 2 images that you might see, especially on the rim of the moon right there. And also it's helped define this subject right here. So it's already done a really good job in helping define the silhouette and also making sure that all the noise is removed. This next one is an even better example, however, of needing to be denoised. So you can see this one I wanted to expose a lot brighter to give this kind of cyberpunk, kind of retro type of look to it. And when I did this, it wound up getting a lot more noise in those dark gradients of the sky behind it. So really what I'm going to want to be doing here is removing that noise, and I'll show you the power of Topaz Photo AI in doing this. So you'll notice after it's completed that transformation that now it looks so much cleaner. I mean, look at the noise over here, and now look at it over here. This looks smooth, like a nice, beautiful gradient in the dark kind of gradient area of the sky behind it, whereas this still looks very noisy, right? So it really helps to just make this pleasing and nice and aesthetic to look at, and I really like the results on this image. And lastly, we're going to be pulling up one more image right here, and this is a really great example because this one was tricky in the sense that when I shot this image that night, this was one of the crows on top of the trees that was eye level with me, but a few feet away while I was on top of a parking garage shooting at the tops of these trees. But the wind speeds were just crazy that night. It was like 20 miles per hour, something like that. And so they were just swaying back and forth. There was no way I could hope to get a perfectly sharp shot on this subject. So you can kind of see a lot of the blur going on, even in the feathers. I did a decent job, but there's still definitely a lot of work that can be done. So let's actually back out here to 50% so you guys can really see it. You can see it's already denoised it, and it detected that. But what I also want to do is get that subject sharper. So let's take a look at how it sharpens this up. Wow. Oh my goodness. And yeah, it's just a night and day difference there. So let's actually zoom in a little bit more once again, just so you guys can really see the details. Like let's look maybe on the back of the bird up here. You can really tell how it's going to help define it. So, and there we go. You can see that difference right there. Just night and day. So it really helps define this. And when I pull this back again and zoom out back on this, you can really tell it just looks so much more concise and so much more clear on what the subject is. And it doesn't look like it was slightly blurry and all that good stuff. So I really like the results here by Topaz Photo AI. Now, speaking along the lines of motion blur, this image is a really good example. I tried to do a slow exposure type of shot here. So we shot this at, I think, like 1/125th of a second or 1/100th of a second. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a slow shutter speed. So you can notice that this bird got a lot of motion blur, particularly in the wings, but even a little bit in the body and stuff like that. And there's a lot of noise in this image because I dramatically increased the contrast because this was an incredibly foggy image. So it's very grayscale. So what this is going to help do is remove all that noise. And then also, once again, it's going to help sharpen the subject itself. So you can see after this is all done, it's incredibly less noisy and the subject is a lot sharper. So I really like already the results here. And what I really like about Topaz Photo AI 2 is it'll autopilot detect the subject of the image and it'll only apply to the subject, as you can see right down here, subject only. And so when I apply the sharpness only to the subject, it's not going to accidentally over sharpen the water or other things in the background. And you can see between these two results, I really like the way that Topaz Photo AI once again helps me achieve a better image than I could have otherwise with my physical, skill limitations in the moment. And for this last one, I have a really cool example going on right here. So I had this opportunity this last summer with a pair of lesser nighthawks that were nesting together, and I had a really cool opportunity to get a whole portfolio of shots of them over the course of like a month and a half. And in that process, I got a whole diversity, and I was really wanting to mix up the types of shots I was able to get, but I never wanted to approach too close due to the fact that I didn't want to scare them while they were on their nest or anything like that. So really what I wanted to use Topaz Photo AI for was in a really nice, clean, sharp shot that I got of them that can make for a really good portrait, but was just a little bit too far backed out. I really wanted to crop in. So I took this image and I cropped it all the way into here. However, you'll notice that it really brings out the noise and it's a little bit, off in terms of the resolution. So what we're going to need to do is enhance the resolution here to really sell it as a nice portrait shot, remove the noise, and sharpen it. So it actually already detected that we should be enhancing the resolution, so that's great. That's off to a great start already. You can see that there's a lot more resolution in this image already than that one. But what we're also going to ask it to do is remove the noise and possibly sharpen it. You can see it detected the subject already, but I'm not quite sure yet about the sharpen. It kind of already looks great, so it just finished processing. Looks great already just with the removed noise, so we might just keep that. But this is a great example of a scenario in which you may need to use enhanced resolution in order to get the shot that you're really wanting in a diverse portfolio of images. The best wildlife photographers that I know are the ones that are most creatively able to think outside of the box and present something different and unseen to the photography genre. Topaz Photo AI is a program that expands my creative capabilities in my wildlife photography work. It removes limitations that may otherwise be present with the gear that I use specifically, or even the boundaries of the highest end technology. I've relied on it to tell my stories in the past of wildlife photography, and I'll continue to use it to denoise, sharpen, and enhance my wildlife images moving forward. I hope it helps you get more creative shots as well.